Look at the state of this. It's burnt on this end and it's still raw on this end. Not only does it cook more evenly, but it cooks more efficiently too. This one boiled a litre of water a full 2 minutes faster than that one. You can see how small that area of heat actually is. This is just junk. The problem with induction cooking is not all these hobs are created equal. In fact, some of them are pretty useless, and it doesn't come down to the cost. Coming up, I'm going to show you how to tell the difference so you don't make the same mistakes that I have. Induction hobs are a great way to cook out in the wild. On a windy day like today, there's no gas to get blown out. You don't have to set up screens around it. You don't have to worry about the safety of having gas on your vehicle, in your vehicle, and you don't have to carry the gas. And these days, most overlanding setups have got power. You've probably got an inverter. So if you've got the inverter, why not use it for cooking as well? The three hobs I've got here are this one, which is HOBS, it's straight off Amazon. This one, which is from IKEA, and this one, which is a commercial grade hob. I'll tell you the differences between all three of them, and what you'll learn about these you can apply to all the other hobs out there. The reason why some hobs are much better than others is all to do with the size of the induction coil that's inside here. The cheap ones tend to have very small coils, sometimes only 4 inches in diameter. Because of the way induction heating works, the heat is transferred directly into a 4-inch circle on the bottom of your pan. That's why you end up with bacon that's burned at one end and still raw at the other end. It's fine if you want to boil water, but if you want to cook, especially if you're cooking in a large pan for a lot of people, you've got to constantly be moving the food around, and what you tend to find is that it burns very easily directly over the coil. Now you might be thinking, well, it's just the wrong type of pan. With the right type of pan, the heat will conduct through the pan and you'll get an even heat. Well, it doesn't work like that with induction, because induced heat is creating the heat within the pan itself, whereas most other types of cooking, fire, gas, halogen, it's convected heat. The heat's coming from the hob up, it's hitting the pan, it's spreading around the pan, and that helps to spread the heat throughout the pan. This is a forged steel pan. It's pretty conductive when it comes to heat, but it still develops a hot spot right in the middle when you put it on a hob like this one. To demonstrate this, I'm going to put a thin layer of flour over the bottom of the pan, turn the heat up, we can watch the flour toast and we'll see the change in colour, and then we can see which parts of the pan are actually getting hot. You can see how windy it is today. So we'll turn it on. And see what happens. You can see how small that area of heat actually is. It's starting to burn now, I'll turn it off. You see also how the heat just doesn't conduct across the pan. Now we'll try the IKEA one. We're just starting to get a bit of a ring now, and it's definitely a lot bigger than what we got off the first one. Right, now we'll try the commercial grade one. Definitely a bigger circle, but still not covering the whole base of the pan. I'm just going to use them to boil some water, and we'll measure how much current they actually draw, whether they draw as much as they say they can. I'll also measure the time it takes to boil a litre of water, just to see if there's any difference between them, with them all set on the same power level. And then finally, I'll show you the best tip for actually buying one of these, and how to choose between the good ones and the bad ones, because it doesn't come down to the price. Let's see how quickly each one can boil a litre of water. They've all, I mean, this one's more powerful, but I'll turn it down so that they're all running the same wattage, and then we'll see whether this coil size makes any difference to the speed of boiling. It's actually drawing 1800 watts, 1900 watts. That's it boiling now. 5 minutes and 7 seconds. Gonna cool the pan down and fill it with fresh cold water. We'll try another one. The IKEA one's drawing just over 2000 watts. Okay, that's boiling. 4 minutes and 5. Okay, now we're going to try the big boy. Should be 2000 watts. And it's drawing about 1995, something like that. And that's boiling. So that's interesting. That's 3 minutes 17. So as you go up in coil size, the boiling time comes down, but the current draw for each one is about the same. So in terms of efficiency for your battery system, you're far better with the bigger coil. So interestingly, cooking that flour and boiling 3 litres of water on 3 different hobs has used 27% of the battery. If you want to know more about this particular power station, check out the other video, which is coming out around about the same time as this one. So how do you know how big the coil is? Well, that's where you've got a problem, because the manufacturers don't tell you, they don't advertise it, and it's really, really hard to find out until you've actually got it sitting in front of you. So if you're buying it mail order, you've really not got much chance. If you do have the chance to go into a shop and see it in the flesh, if you shine a light through the glass, now this looks opaque, but actually this surface is glass, and you can see through it if you shine a bright light on top of it, and then you'll be able to see the coil underneath the glass, and you can measure it, and that'll give you an idea of how good a hob it's actually going to be. I'm going to try and show you the different coil sizes across the 3 hobs. I'm just going to use these knives. Got a bright torch. It's pretty sunny, so I'm not sure whether I'm actually going to be able to see, but we'll try. This one is 12.5 centimeters. This one, the IKEA one, is 17.5, and this one is 23.5. So what we've learned there is you can't really go by the price. These two are exactly the same price, and there's a big difference in performance between this one and this one. The only thing this one has going for it is the fact that it's small. There's not much in it in terms of weight. I think this is just junk. This one is usable, and when it's the same price as that one, why would you buy that one? And then if you're serious about cooking, and or if you're cooking for a large amount of people, you want to use a big pan, you want to cook a big breakfast for a lot of people, I think this is by far the best. This is the one I'm using. I just hate cooking on especially that. I mean, that's just a waste of time. This one's okay. If you want to compromise, the IKEA one is the same price as loads of the other ones you'll find on Amazon, and the performance is much better, even though it's drawing the same amount of power. But when you're trying to preserve your power, I think that's a big win. In terms of cost, this one was about £50. This one is about £50. Might have been 45 actually. This one was £200, and I suppose I should point out it's quite heavy. It's a lot heavier than the others. It's very sturdily built. It's lined with a stainless steel liner, and the glass plate is actually sunken just below the lip of the liner, so if it gets a knock, hopefully it won't crack the glass. So if you're a serious cook, get this one. If you want value for money, get this one. This one, chuck it in the bin.